And there's a story this morning. We've been saying this now for a week. Keep your eye on the Chargers, running back and offensive tackle. So this is what I've been saying. And here's how I view the trade deadline. Buffalo Bills, Chargers, Rams, go get help. You have superstar quarterbacks. If you do not have a great quarterback, don't. That's what bad teams do. I hear all these Jalen Waddle to the Giants rumors. Stupid. The think about it this way. Think about free agency like it's similar to poker. What's your hand? The Giants have a pair of pocket twos. Scattaboo and Jackson Dart. Nice twos. You're not winning the hand. Okay. You got Herbert, Allen, Stafford. Okay. That's a pair of kings. That's a pair of aces. Take a swing. Now, Khalil Mack may play this weekend against the Colts. Joe Alt is coming back in the next couple of weeks. Hampton's coming back as well. And if you didn't go to the trade deadline, the Chargers feel like, to me, they're a playoff team. With Alt at left tackle, Hampton back at running back, and Khalil Mack, those are three elite players. I don't think you need a big swing. Keep your eye on Alvin Kamara as a backup running back from the Saints. Keep your eye. Now, Carolina's got a young running back, but he just had a monster weekend against the Cowboys. Rico Dowdle used to be a Cowboy, had a great week. I don't think Carolina, in that weak division, Carolina thinks they may be a playoff team. I think you could get him in 3 weeks when they're not a playoff team. It doesn't look like it because I think Atlanta and Tampa are just better. But when I look at the trade deadline, who's your quarterback? Bills, you can't stop the run. That's how you lose games in January. Josh Allen doesn't get on the field. Buffalo, make a move. Doesn't have to be a gigantic swing. Something on the interior of the defense. Chargers, a backup swing tackle or a running back. Hampton's been hurt once. Running backs get hurt a lot. And then, you're the Rams. You got to get a legit corner.
Okay, I don't want to talk about the Rams. I want to talk about the Chargers. I don't want to talk about the Bills. I want to talk about the Chargers. First and foremost, as someone who played poker a lot, a massive amount, won tournaments. Don't mean to brag. I'm pretty cool. You can win lots of hands with pocket twos. And you lose an insane amount of hands with pocket aces and pocket kings because they're really difficult to fold. You have pocket kings, and that ace comes down on the flop, and you're like, oh, but I got pocket kings. I got pocket kings. And you could lose to anyone that just has ace 3. So let's relax. But I will say this about my San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers fans. The NFL right now is so ripe for the taking. It really is. And it's so frustrating from a Chargers perspective because if you could just be healthy right now, if the team that you thought you were putting out there, the O-line that you had, Becton, Alt, etc., with Najee Harris and all of this, you were absolutely set up and poised to be, without a shadow of a doubt, top team in the NFL. Without a shadow of a doubt, top team in the NFL and competing for the number 1 seed in the NFL. Home field advantage. In San Diego. They were going to play the AFC Championship game in San Diego where I used to live. And then injuries came about. And devastating injuries at that. And it really broke. And so, the Chargers are active in the trade talks. And it's just like, it's so frustrating because they're trading for things they didn't need before. And so if you can get those things, what does that do for you now? Can you skyrocket back to being that top team in the NFL? How big of a swing do you take? What can you get? I'm not going to pretend like I have any degree of confidence of, it's not a bad idea to trade a 3rd round draft pick for this guy. It's just like, man, everyone always loves to make that up like they have any idea. And I'm just confident that nobody has any idea. Everyone, especially in the media, speaks so firmly. I'd give a 4th round pick for that. Oh, would you? Would you give a 4th round pick for that guy? Like, you have any idea what that will actually equate to in next year's draft, like, get out of here, man. Like, get out of here. So I'm just not gonna speak super firmly on that side of things. Okay. What the risk reward is of saying, like, okay, we're going to trade a third rounder for a 30-year-old right now, like, whatever it may be, and then we're going to have to pay him this, or it's only going to be a 1-year rental, whatever it is, because it all depends on what you think you can achieve right now. And what you can achieve right now, you have to look at your team currently, and then you have to look just right across the street in your own division to the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like, you got to be like, if we make these moves, if we make these trades, do we win the division, and do we beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, or are we're just more competitive now? We're just a little bit better. That's the decision that you have to try to figure out. And obviously you're going to look at other teams as well, but just look at the closest team to you, the most competitive team that you're going to face, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the mindset, at least for me it is. And that's why, when you talk about the Giants and whatnot, you're right. It's just like, okay, are you really going to be able to hang with some of these other teams? And it's like, probably not. So then it's like, so then is it worth it? Probably not. But the Giants are kind of like, well, the Commanders, hey, they just lost to the Bears. They're not thinking, and hey, the Eagles, they might be on the brink of a collapse. So if we can get a couple extra pieces here, we could compete for the division. And it's like, maybe. So, but it's all about long-term, short-term, because just competing for the division for the Chargers is not enough. It's competing for the Super Bowl. It's competing for the AFC. That's why my mind automatically goes to the Chiefs. But, you're playing the Colts right now, and so they're technically the other top team in the AFC. And we'll see, if that continues to be, to be the truth here. But we know what the amount of potential this Chargers team has. We know that. We've seen it just earlier on in the season. We know how great this team can be, both offensively and defensively, but especially offensively, if you could just protect your quarterback. I mean, it's really simple. This offense could run at an incredibly high level if you could just protect your quarterback, run marginally well, and just don't drop passes at an alarming rate. And you are in a position to torch defenses, to just pick them apart. Watch that Chiefs game, week 1 again, in, Brazil, wherever the heck it was. Watch that game again. They were offensively, they were able to do whatever they wanted, to throw wherever they wanted. And then as the weeks have gone on, they haven't been able to, because Justin Herbert is being hit and running for his life. And they're not getting a lot of support in the run game. And then, of course, Justin Herbert was able to have a lot smoother of a game last week against the Dolphins when his running back was able to take off. And when they were able to actually protect him in a way where he was not getting hit as much and only took 1 sack. Now, he still had to move around a lot and still had to be, be strategic. It's not like he just now had all day, sitting back there. But those things fundamentally matter. And so how great the Chargers can be. And we know that the problems that they're having right now, in terms of their levels of success, it is just a manpower situation, right? It's just, do you have the guys? Do you have the depth? Like, what's the situation here? It can be very similar to the Kansas City Chiefs trading for DeAndre Hopkins. Now, again, that's the problem. It's not like, at this point in DeAndre Hopkins' career that you make a trade for him that it ends up being just this massive play, but it was a crucial play for them to kind of get back on track throughout the course of their season, to have them be more resilient, to buy time for an Xavier Worthy to start to grow into himself, to get Hollywood Brown back, etc., etc. And so if there's a similar path for the Chargers, just obviously the Chiefs at the time had a much longer track record. So I am fascinated to see what the Chargers do here, but it is just frustrating because they're in active trade talks for running back and offensive tackle when it's just like they had that stuff taken care of. They took care of the things that they needed to do in the offseason and in a previous draft. They did it. They did it. And then the injuries got them. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. Do they have pocket twos or do they have pocket aces? And I'm telling you right now, first of all, pocket twos, a two comes on the flop. Now you have a set of two. Now you have a set of twos. Okay. Now the board pairs, boom. You got a full house. So don't be knocking pocket twos. Pocket kings lose all the time. 8, 8, ace. Does someone have an 8? Does someone have an ace? They have either of those cards, I lose. And I'm playing in a hand with 6 other guys right now. None of these guys have an 8 or an ace. They do. Now I have pocket kings and I can't let them go because it's pocket kings and I raised pre-flop. I want to win this hand right now. And now you're holding on to it. Now you're just hoping if another king drops, I got a full house. Kings over 8s. I'm just saying. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Are the Chargers pocket aces, pocket kings, or pocket twos? Do you think they'll make a trade? Do you think they should make a trade? Do you think making trades will be enough to kind of get them back in this top level of the NFL? Or are they still just, not as top contenders as we'd want them to be? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.